Welcome back to Bio News Network. We want to let you know in regards to the severe weather that's actually occurring right now on the eastern section of Texas and also going into Louisiana. There's quite a bit of very, very heavy, severe thunderstorm activity, all of the different elements that are coming into view at this time, and we wanted to make sure that we updated our subscribers with all of the significant events that are occurring in the weather, primarily in the southeast states of Texas, Louisiana, as well as Mississippi, as well as Arkansas at this time, that are currently on an enhanced watch from the Weather Severe Prediction Center for weather at this particular time. So before we get started, if you're new to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and so we can actually get back into this weather update. Thank you so much. So as we take a closer look, we had a low pressure system that was pretty much anchored over the area of the Four Corners, and it's actually been moving eastward into the area of the Texas Panhandle as well as Oklahoma City area, and we actually saw that there was quite a line, like a boundary layer of where we had cool air making its way across the from the southwest of the continental United States, which is relatively very, very dry at this time, but very, very cool air making its way, a low front making its way into the area, which has very, very warm advection, primarily from the body of water here, the Gulf of Mexico. So this is actually contributing significantly to very, very severe and turbulent weather that is actually making its way and having a strong grip on the area. So if we actually take a closer look at what's actually happening, we see that in this red zone at this particular time, midday on Friday, that there's a strong chance of thunderstorms with hail going into Friday evening. Just a little bit north of there, just a little bit north of the Arkansas, Louisiana, as well as Texas border, we do see that high winds with potential thunderstorm activity is also forecasted for this area also. And then if we take a closer look specifically on the Arlatex, the border of Arkansas, Louisiana, as well as Arkansas and Texas and the Louisiana border, we see quite a bit of severe thunderstorm activity, and we do see possibility of tornado advisories. There is an enhanced alert at this time simply because there's a various number of different elements that are coming into the picture. As we go into this weather forecast, we're going to go ahead and load our cuboid, and our cuboid is really going to focus on 5 dimensions of the weather, five primary elements of this weather forecast are going to focus actually on the precipitation model. We're also going to be taking a closer look at the Cape values, convective available potential energy in the area. We'll see on the forecast map there's quite a bit, anywhere ranging from 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram that's available for Cape, as well as bulk shear. There's very, very high wind gusts ranging from anywhere from 40 to 50 knots at this particular time in this area. We're also going to be taking a closer look at the gusts, wind gust forecast, as well as what we can anticipate for Saturday going in. So as we take a closer look with this cuboid, we're going to actually be able to see the 5 elements that have actually put together the primary bulk of us taking a closer look at this specific area, which is going to be the border of Arkansas, Texas and Louisiana for severe thunderstorm activity. We do see this boundary layer here, the dry line. It's almost lining up with the I-35 corridor. Anything east of this I-35 corridor in East Texas is going to be pretty severe weather between now and, let's say, Sunday morning. There's going to be advisories for marginal to enhanced to severe thunderstorm activity. We are looking primarily now at advisories for the cities of Oklahoma City, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Shreveport, Lafayette, as well as Norman, Oklahoma. This entire zone here is actually is pretty much on alert right now, simply because of all these different factors that are coming into the picture with respect to this band. And we anticipate that this band will stretch all the way across from the border of Arkansas and Louisiana over into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, possibly make its way all the way up into the Carolinas before the end of the weekend. But this is going to be a significant event, and we're actually taking a closer look at this from the standpoint not only from the amount of rain and precipitation that will be brought to the area, but also the potential for severe hail possibly in the region of 1.5 inches to 2 inches in diameter, coming down simply because of the significant updraft activity, as well as other factors that are going into this weather forecast. We do reach out to the residents of along the border of Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas not to take these advisories lightly, simply because we do know that with all these different elements, cold front actually moving into a boundary layer of warm advection, as well as significant cape in the region of the Gulf of Mexico, combined with bulk sharing to the tune of 40 to 50 knots. These are all different elements that are possibly would signal tornado, at the very minimum severe thunderstorm activity with high winds, damaging winds, as well as large size hail. If we actually take a closer look at what actually triggered this, it was actually a low pressure system migrating across the east, and combined with the warm advection of the Gulf of Mexico here and thunderstorm activity along the dry line. We did see lapse rates that were significant to the development of these storm activities, and that was in line with the updraft. We saw significant updraft potential, as well as dew points that were shifting in the range of the upper 50s to the low 60s in this region. And we also saw that on the precipitable water table, we saw that the level of saturation in parcels of air unique to this area were very, very high. So if we take a closer look at what we're actually looking at here, we can actually see the first element of in regards to the Cape value, and we see that the Cape values here are in a range of 1,500 to 2,000 on average. We saw ranges even higher than that. If we take a closer look at an opposing inversely element that opposes Cape, which is the SIN value, convective inhibition number, we saw values very, very low. Most of the values for SIN values were further in the west section of Texas, not really on the east side. So we don't see any kind of inhibitive border layers that are going to be significant to blocking or inhibiting any of the updrafts, as well as the significant buoyancy of any of these air masses as the system moves its way across the east coast of Texas into Louisiana and also Arkansas. So this entire zone is for Friday. We're looking at high winds in this region. We're also looking at severe thunderstorm activity with potential hail on this area, and directly along the Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana border, we anticipate that possible tornadoes with significant downpour drafts of heavy rain with possible hail that's completely circulating within updrafts of significant supercell activity, as well as thunderstorms in the area. If we also take a closer look, we do anticipate that there's going to be a damaging wind threat in the area. Just some of the winds that we can see, we see that the winds are actually coming out of the south the west-southwest primarily, and we see readings coming in from our weather forecast or storm prediction center coming in a range of 45 to 50 knots. And it's just really high winds, significant bulk sharing possibilities are occurring in this zone here along the Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas border. And if we actually take a closer look also at wind gusts, we see wind gusts are pretty significant along this zone also. Wind gusts, some are ranging in the range of 40 to 45 miles per hour or even higher, depending on as this system. But we do see a distinct dry line or boundary layer between a warm advection zone that is off the Gulf of Mexico with this low pressure system that's actually migrating its way. This system is going to pick up speed very quickly as it makes its way into Saturday across the southeast United States, and with it comes increased risk of severe thunderstorms in the region of Georgia, in the region of Alabama and South Carolina and North Carolina. But we can see actually that body of warm advection, as well as that dry line boundary layer between the low pressure system as it makes its way east. So if we take another closer look at what we anticipate going into Saturday, as this system develops, we anticipate it being fueled by more higher cape, increased lapse rates as far as the amount of energy that's being able to transfer with buoyancy. And we see that this system is actually going to be getting more strengthened and stronger as this low pressure system actually makes its way into the northeast. So that is our outlook for Saturday, where instead of a very tight body of thunderstorm activity with possibility of supercell and hail formation right along the Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas border, we see it actually becoming more widespread with more significant rain possible along in central Alabama, northern Georgia, as well as South Carolina and North Carolina should be on notice as the system makes its way across. We do see that with the high pressure system here, we do have still below normal records for cold temperatures, primarily along the East Coast in South Carolina, North Carolina, even Pennsylvania. If you recall, for let's say the last week and a half, we had significant low temperatures throughout the continental United States, with the exception of the Southwest, which is on pretty much a drought monitor alert at this time. Significant droughting in the area of New Mexico, Arizona, also Nevada, southern Nevada, some sections of Colorado, as well as Utah are looking at severe drought in areas. So this section of the continental United States is pretty much on a drought monitor situation, while there is significant precipitation saturation fueled by the warm, moist air of the Gulf of Mexico actually migrating into the southeast states. And this is actually producing and increasing the chance of supercell and tornado formation all along the coast, as well as into the states of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. If we take a closer look also, we can actually see that as we go forward, we're actually taking a closer look at the significant winds at the surface level. We do see a pattern here where we can see the body of air is hot with significant wind gusts as the system makes its way across the continental United States. And as we take a closer look, this was actually what was the system as it was making its way into the southeast section of the United States. And then going forward, we do see that this was actually what we had discussed earlier on in the update, where this low pressure system was making its way east, and now it is actually making significant presence known here along the Arkansas, Louisiana, as well as Texas border, and eventually, as we said, it will migrate in to northern section of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina going forward. But we can anticipate that there will be significant damaging winds, significant hail as the system makes its way through on Saturday for the areas of Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, going into South Carolina. One other thing that we wanted to note with this forecast also is that if you are living in a section along the borders of these three primary states that we mentioned, which is Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana, and you please make sure that you're open to all possible mediums of media for tornado alerts, because we do see that there's a significant amount of convective energy in the region that will fuel the pop-up of supercells, possibly a significant squall line that will lead to significant development of supercells, as well as touchdown of tornadoes anywhere along this area bordering Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and also going into Alabama. So for the next 12 hours, we anticipate significant weather alerts for the core central Mississippi as well as Alabama. And then going into the weekend, we do see that there's going to be severe thunderstorm alerts for the southeast states. But that is actually our forecast going into into Friday evening. We do reach out to the residents of northern Louisiana as well as southern Arkansas and East Texas to be on alert. Please heed all warnings, take advantage of all warnings to seek shelter should you receive a tornado warning going forward. And as always, please remember to bow to the weather. We appreciate all of our subscribers. We will continue to monitor the situation with these weather events in the area of the southeast, and we will bring them to you as soon as we get more information from the Storm Prediction Center. And as always, thank you for subscribing to Bio News Network, and have a great day.